Hey everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. I'm here to do another Be Inspired and Use It Up. So what I am being inspired by right now is I was just kind of working through another layout and came across these two pieces of pattern paper from the Amy Tan Finders Keepers. I had the 6x6 pad that I'm trying to work through. And I love the fact that if I cut these out, they will make some really fun triangles. So I am going to do that and see what type of fun layout I can create with it. And I'm really excited. I haven't done one of these episodes in quite a while. So I hope you enjoy. And if you have any suggestions for anything that you'd like to see from me, just leave them in the comments below. Okay, so I just want to do a little bit of photo triage and how I'm kind of deciding what I want to do here. So I took the time to cut out all of these little squares. It did take me a while. I'd probably say half an hour to get them all cut out and organized. I threw away the ones that had any type of a scene on them because I won't use them. I went through my little basket here. These are the ones that I know I would like to scrap. I have them semi-organized, but they're in there. And I pulled out 3 different sets. So let me show you what I'm thinking here, and then I'll get you on fast forward for the rest of the process, I promise. I have this piece of Heart Day paper from Crate Paper from this year's line, and I'm thinking it would be really fun to use some of the hearts along with some of these triangles. So that's kind of where my thought process is going. But I also really love some of these sayings. So I'm just trying to think what I could do here. I do have this photo of Sean and myself, so I could obviously use anything lovey-dovey about us for that. And it's a black and white photo, which does make it doable. But I also have this photo. It's a fall photo, and you can see my bump just a little bit. I could still see my feet at the time, so that's a bonus. But I just kind of was like, oh, this would be fun. And I do have some of the wood grain that I can add in with it with the black, because there's a black border. And I'm thinking I could use a few pieces here and there to be able to do that too. So that's an option there. I like this option, and trying to work through that. It's not exactly the same blue, but I could probably bring in the oranges and the yellows or something if I'd like to go that route. I have another black and white photo, which I can do. I'm not really sure which one of these I would do, because this is kind of talking about more of a funnier type thing. So I don't know, maybe I would just look at these and cut out the ones I really want to keep and then use the rest for something else. But I do have that photo as an option too. And then finally I have this set of photos, which would help me get my 2014 album done, which is a bonus because that's what I am trying to work on. And my jacket is the correct color. So that's kind of, I just don't know. And there's obviously, you could use a few things. We're pretty great together as a family. That would work. I don't know. So it's kind of where I'm at. I don't know, guys. I'm really trying to think of how I want to go about it, but that's where my brain's going. And I think it'll be fun to combine them. And because I just did the challenge about using themed products for one season or theme on a different themed photo, I'm kind of in that mindset on how I can use stuff like that. And I kind of is where I've leaned towards this. I do like the black and white option too, so we'll see. I think I might kind of cut this out as well and see what I can create to combine them together and make a fun layout.
Let me get started here. So this process is going to be a little bit longer than my normal videos. I left a little bit more of the nitty-gritty that normally I actually cut out in. Let me know what you think of this, if this is something you'd prefer me to do, or if you like that I kind of cut out the parts that you're like, yeah, I get how you do that. And I'll try to make that more prominent in my videos. And what I'm doing here is I found the triangles. I'm going to line them up. The bottom here, I'm going to do just another triangle like this within my triangle. I love this. This layout it's just so much fun to do. So I did the 3 colors there. And then I'm going to line around my photo, just make a line of it. And I'm using the colors, the orange, the gray and black type stripe one. I'm using a pink color, a teal color, and the wood grain. And the reason why is I want this to be kind of a fun layout talking about fall, but because it's a photo of me, I can add as much pink as I want. And if you have recently seen my videos about how I talk about scrapping for boys, I tend to use more boyish colors, obviously, when it comes to Jackson. So when I do layouts that, especially that are just about me, I like to add on a little bit extra of the girl factor there. So that's why you're going to see a lot of pink in this layout. And that right there is going to basically be the basis of my layout. But I want to grab in and use this piece of Maggie Holmes paper, just the little tiniest bit of it, because I want to save this piece. The back of that paper has deer on it, and I want to use that for when the baby comes. And I'm also kind of flipping through a few other choices here. I'm thinking about cutting out this floral piece. That doesn't end up happening, but I'm thinking about it. I am going to, however, cut out some of those awesome leaves. So same collection, that's the Dear Lizzie. No, it's not. The Amy Tan Finders Keepers. And you can see here that I went back and did the part that I told you about, using that as a border, and then did some stitching. I used my pencil to kind of trace where all the elements are going to be. And now I'm going to do some mixed media. Now my mixed media is pretty minimal. I'm just adding little bits here and there, but I wanted there to be something. It actually looks a little messy, to be honest with you, at first, and even if you really look at my finished product, it's pretty messy. But with all the other elements that I end up adding, I think it works. It works well, and it's fine. So I am watering down some textures, and they're not textures, they're both Dazzlers, but they are lighter colors. So I'm using Tutti Frutti right now, and then I will also use a little bit of my pasties that I got that are teal, and then the little bit brighter pink color. So you're going to see me do that. I think I actually leave in almost my whole process when it comes to doing the mixed media. Like I said, I left a lot of things in here. So the way I deal with packaging technique, I'm sure you see this all the time, but I like to highlight with a pencil mark where it is, so that I put the majority of everything in the middle and then spread it out, so you're just seeing little bits and pieces. So there you can see that. Like I said, it looks really messy right now, but it does get better as I add in the other elements. Just wait and see, because at first I was like, oh no, another layout that I completely destroyed, but no, this works well. And this is my comfort zone with mixed media. It scares me to do it, and I find a lot of times I do it and I don't like the end result. So I try to find a way to use, because I have a lot of product now, so I try to find ways to use it that are appealing to me and still within my comfort zone. So I went ahead and cut out all of those leaves I wanted to use and did some stitching. And I'm just going to layer these and try to figure out where I'd like them to go. I am very much focusing on doing a triangular effect with where the hearts are and where the leaves are. These get moved around a little bit at the end, but you can see I'm just kind of playing. Basically, the reason why they get moved around is because I forget how I placed them. But that's okay. I still, like I said, I really love my end result here, so I'm not worried about that. I did enjoy, however, the fact that I was able to use some paper. So let me explain to you my little phobia. I tend to have this thing where when there's a full sheet of 12 by 12, I do not like to cut it to use just a little tiny bit of it. I don't know why. I see people doing it all the time, but I can't. I just get so nervous about it. And so I challenged myself as part of this episode, because I was using the squares and the 6x6. I knew I had that 12 by 12 leaf paper. I'm never going to use the whole sheet of it. So I challenged myself to cut it up. And now what I'll do with the rest of it probably is cut up the rest of it and use them in other layouts that involve fall, because they're the perfect thing to use for fall. I like bright fall layouts, so it works really well for me. So the other thing you're seeing me do here, and I've said so a lot, sorry, I'm adding in little tiny elements here. I titled my layout, let's try that again, fabulously Fallish. And I'm now just adding in little bits and pieces. I am going through my stash here. I really am trying to use up my stash and pick some pieces that have kind of been there for a while. That rub on, I was really nervous wasn't going to actually rub on, but it did, and it worked fine. You can tell it's a little bit older. There's a few wrinkles in it, but it worked just fine. So that's going to be able to go there. I know, I'm sorry, it's cut off at the bottom. You'll see it in the full picture at the end. I'm still working on how to make it so you can see everything, and it's just not... Sitting to scrap is a challenge for me right now. I'm having the hardest time getting this to work correctly. So there you can see we're back to a normal video shot there. It rotated on me when I was recording that part. So you can see I've added a few little elements here. I am liking this. I know I'm going to put my journaling where I put that teal little scrap there. I'm dating it because this was taken in November. And then I'm just going to put my journaling at the bottom, like just line it up there. I'm going to go through the rest of my little bits of embellishments that I picked here and just kind of start doing my final little pieces. This is actually quite a heavy embellished layout. I don't, lately especially, I haven't been doing this much when it comes to embellishing, but I was just playing and having fun, and this isn't for anything. It's not for a design team. It's not for anything. It was just me playing and wanting to be inspired. Like I said, remember, this is all because of those triangles that I came across. So it was just me being inspired by those triangles to create a fun layout that I can add into my album. And I find when there's not pressure to do something, I think a lot of people who do design teams understand this, but if you don't, there sometimes is a lot of pressure to make sure that you're making the best layout ever for your design team projects. So sometimes it's really nice to just be able to just create something because you're creating and you're just having fun. And that's really how this layout was for me. And like I said multiple times, I'm really loving the results of it. So here you see I'm just kind of messing around, trying to figure out where I want to put a few things. I added some little enamel hearts. I'm going to add this little piece here that says "So Fab," and I love that because I am wearing my fall boots and you can start to see my bump. I'm adding a flare. Can you believe that? Me adding a flare. And I'm also going to add this awesome pink feather here. So I just, again, adding little pops of pink here and there. I decided maybe an ampersand on top of it, so it's multiple layers, something kind of interesting to the eye, and just bringing in a little bit more black there because it needed something to kind of ground it and help bring your eye to the title. I did also break into my Hazelwood collection, and I'm going to add just a corner piece in the pink. I was thinking about the teal, but it's going to be in the pink, and that is going to just be there for another little element. I liked that it was cork because it helped to bring out the few little bits of wood pieces that I do have within my elements on this layout. So with that, it's going to wrap up this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really excited to have this series back, and I'll be back later with some more stuff. Thanks everyone for watching.